The scam that tricked millions of athletes. We're being shown some sort of band on Kobe's wrist there. I have no idea what this band is. I don't remember this at all. This is a video by Baseball Doesn't Exist. If you are new around here, do subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, all that good stuff. Hope you're all having a great festive period. Let's dive into the reaction. Let's go.
In the late 2000s, two companies took over the world of sports, only to get sued, having to repay customers millions of dollars for allegedly selling a product that did nothing.
I have no recollection of this.
Thousands of athletes not only used them, they loved them and swore by them. Alex Rodriguez, David Beckham, Ronaldo, Bryce Harper, Robert De Niro, Lindsay Lohan.
And if Beckham and Ronaldo were promoting it, I feel like I should know about. Why did I never hear about? I was around in the late 2000s.
And even Bill Clinton all wore these.
Big Bill.
A woman from Canada, not even knowing what it was, had her chronic pain from 2 wrist surgeries completely disappear after putting one of these on. It healed Clint Hurdle's elbow pain, and after battling neck pain 4 years, Curt Schilling said he put one of these on and hadn't felt a stiff neck since. And all the people I just mentioned didn't get paid to wear.
Oh, that's it's a bad Photoshop. I was gonna say, come on, my man.
Of those things. Millions of people wore necklaces and bracelets said to be fueled by a nanotechnology operating at a subatomic level in the quantum field, using a hologram that is so complex it has infinite depth. When in contact with your body, it uses your bioelectrical energy to increase your physiological powers.
So basically, you just use a whole load of big words that sound cool, and then people are like, that sounds good. That sounds like a product I need. I need that.
These claims come from several different explanations of power balance, found on archived versions of their website spanning from 2007 to 2009.
2007 to 2009, I'd have been like 15, 16. I should have heard about this, man.
These claims were made, nobody had ever even heard of them. A few years later, pretty much every single athlete in the world would be wearing their product. But at the time, a completely different company was dominating the space. Phiten necklaces were a phenomenon, originally created in the 80s by a Japanese chiropractor / holistic medicine practitioner. They transformed from a line of magnetic tape, clothing, and even shampoo into a necklace. According to Phiten, the secret ingredient was aqua titanium. According to archived versions of their website, they discovered a groundbreaking technology that for the first time ever could make the metal titanium dissolvable into water. They called it aqua titanium and claimed when worn on the body could penetrate a person's muscles and increase their health levels. From a scientific perspective, this was controversial, but after years, Phiten finally found their target market. Baseball was perfect for a product like Phiten, a sport that is obsessed with superstitions that make absolutely no sense. Turk Wendell would brush his teeth in between innings every single inning because he thought it made him better at baseball. The Yankees in 2009 were convinced a golden thong had powers.
I remember
so when a player got into a slump, they would wear a golden thong that the entire team shared. And even though Mark McGwire went from this size in high school to being 6'5", 245 pounds, he wore the exact same cup he had in high school his entire major league career. He thought that helped him hit home runs.
Maybe not everything grew during that period of time.
So the idea that a necklace filled with liquid metal could somehow help on-the-field performance wasn't even really that crazy. The notion that they would create a multi-million-dollar industry was crazy. The Phiten necklace first gained traction in professional baseball in Japan. The story goes that Randy Johnson is the origin of Phiten coming to America. He discovered them while playing in an MLB vs. MPB exhibition in Japan in 2000, then brought them to MLB, where they slowly spread until the 2004 Red Sox. Curt Schilling was supposed to be out for the playoffs with an ankle injury, then got an experimental ankle surgery invented by a Red Sox trainer. He became the first person ever to receive this surgery and didn't do it in a hospital. He got this experimental surgery inside the Red Sox training room.
What is going on in baseball, man? Every time we've not done baseball videos much recently, but we went through a period of time where we're doing a lot, and baseball has the most wild backstories and inside stories that you've ever heard of any sport. What sort of trainer creates his own surgery that's never been done before Does it on a professional baseball player worth millions of dollars. Doesn't even do it in a hospital. Does it in like the physio. What is going on in baseball, man?
Room the day before he had to pitch in the ALCS, leaving his ankle looking like this. This became the biggest story in sports as millions of people watched Schilling shut down the Yankees as the cameras obsessed over his bloody sock, zooming in and showing it any chance they got throughout the entire game. And all these cameras fixated on Schilling also picked up his brand new Phiten necklace, exposing this new product to millions. In fact, multiple Red Sox in 2004 wore Phiten as they went on one of the most infamous runs in baseball history to break the curse of the Bambino. This was the beginning of a marketing breakthrough for Phiten. In 2005, usage in MLB exploded. Over 200 MLB players were wearing Phiten, and Phiten wasn't even paying them. Players genuinely liked them. Jose Lopez said he felt happier when wearing it. Andy Chavez said he thought he had more energy when he was wearing it. And Mariners outfielder Chris Snelling, who was battling wrist...
But let's have a look at these quotes here, just to go back a little second.
And Phiten wasn't even paying them.
Just
players
heavily placebo effect, obviously.
Hose Lopez said he felt...
I guess I feel a little happier with it. Like, that's not really conclusive evidence, is that I guess I feel a little happier
when wearing it. Andy Chavez...
This guy, I think I have a little more energy. It's not, I feel happier when I'm wearing it. I have more energy when I'm wearing it. I think I have a little more energy when I'm wearing it.
He had more energy when he was wearing it. And Mariners outfielder Chris Snelling, who was battling wrist pain, said he would wear these at night and wake up with no wrist pain whatsoever. All of a sudden, Phiten was getting tens of millions of dollars worth of free exposure from major leaguers who loved wearing them and genuinely believed in them. The first month of the season in 2005, Phiten sold 3,500 necklaces in America.
Not great.
By August, their sales were 7 times higher. Phitens were sold in every sporting goods store, at every elementary school recess, and...
So it just means that number doesn't seem that high, though. 24,000 necklaces. How expensive are they? Surely they're not... Maybe they're really expensive.
Every single baseball field in America, from Little League to the major leagues. They started selling tape and patches to help specific areas of discomfort.
24,000 is
tornado,
a lot, right?
Combining 2 Phitens into one, becoming a signature look everywhere. For a little extra money, you could get the X30, which according to Phiten had a concentration of aqua titanium.
So if they sold, and this is the premium version, if they sold 24,000 at $32, that's $768,000, which is a lot of money, but it's not
30 times higher than...
Oh, was that just in 1 month? Maybe that was just in 1 month.
Titanium for even more effectiveness.
They sold that many in 1 month.
We're selling necklaces that were as much as $168 on their website, and they were flying off the shelf. Yet, there doesn't seem to be a single medical professional not affiliated with the company that thought these things did anything. During their rise in popularity, article after article questioned Phiten, pointed out they had essentially no research backing them up, and referenced doctors who dismissed the products completely. Yet in many of these same articles were random people not being paid by Phiten, swearing it improved their lives, saying it made them better at surfing, kids saying they didn't get tired after sports practice anymore, and people in their 60s saying it helped with carpal tunnel and allowed them to work out 5 times a week.
Can we just say, though, as a kid, you'll say the wildest stuff like, you believe the football boots are going to make you faster. If you have certain colour football boots, you're going to be faster. You're going to be able to do tricks better. Kids chat nonsense, man. Let's not take what kids say.
In the past, Phiten's website claimed they prevented injury, eliminated pain, called aqua titanium effective against tendinitis, headaches, certain type of arthritis, and even premenstrual syndrome. But once they became popular in America, they backed off these claims. Perhaps worried about potential lawsuits, a Phiten representative now said that they, quote, made no medical claims, saying it's just a cool sports product. They stopped promising crazy health benefits, people everywhere were calling them a scam, and they just became even more popular, selling over $200 million worth of products in 2009. While in Japan, an estimated 1 in 10 people wore a Phiten.
This never took
wanted
off in
them. If they
England.
didn't work, they usually didn't care because they just thought they looked cool. Others did believe in them and genuinely got results. From a business perspective, Phiten had an amazing model. However, in America, they were mostly limited to the baseball community. So a company called Power Balance saw an opportunity. Morphing into a bracelet in 2008, the product saw absolutely no success until then, but their co-founder worked at the famous Elite 11 quarterback camp. There, he started pitching some of the best quarterbacks in the country. In 2007, they only sold $8,000 worth of product.
Rough year.
Nobody knew what Power Balance was. But in 2008, Matt Stafford, Mark Sanchez, and Colt McCoy all wore Power Balance
That's all it
bracelets
takes.
the entire year.
A few
Two of
big
which
names.
were featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated wearing Power Balance. Just like Phiten, they were getting millions of dollars in free promotion and making extremely strong claims, except these claims were much crazier. According to archived versions of their site from 2007 to 2009, Power Balance says they could use vibrations to stimulate red blood cells and improve the communication between your cells. Your bioelectrical energy powers would work with the Power Balance hologram to strengthen life-enhancing information. The hologram, they say, was made by a proprietary sonic formula only known to them, which required photonic engineering that converted sonic waves into light. And people wearing them often...
They're just doing that same trick of just throw loads of scientific, futuristic, cool sounding words out at the people and they'll think this is amazing.
Felt better balance, strength, flexibility, and range of motion. It's safe to say most scientists probably wouldn't agree with that. But these claims were made at the infancy of the company. By the time people actually started buying them, they were no longer on the website. They didn't make sense, but they didn't trick anyone because nobody read it. The thing that did convince people to buy Power Balance was this. The Power Balance test put people through a series of balance tests, then immediately redid the same test with the Power Balance bracelet on, and almost without fail, the person would perform significantly better with the Power Balance on. It could be done anywhere, so anytime someone wearing a Power Balance receives skepticism for wearing it, they could just immediately put the doubter through the test, who almost always had better results with the...
But what if then you tested them a third time without the power balance on? I bet they'd still do better because the first time you do it, you're just learning. If it's the first time you've ever done that test, you're just learning how to do it. The second time, you're going to adjust a bit, aren't you? You're going to try a bit harder because you know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's just...
the Power Balance on. This became one of the most effective marketing tools imaginable. All of a sudden, in bars, in schools, and parties across the country, this fun party trick was converting countless numbers of people into believers in Power Balance. The test is almost certainly a psychological trick that doesn't hold up when the subject is blinded and doesn't know if they have the Power Balance on or not. But when the subject knows they are wearing the Power Balance, immediately after not wearing it, it works extremely well. All of a sudden, random people not being paid by Power Balance swore by it. A restaurant owner told the OC Register that he began wearing the Power Balance and started having energy levels he never had in his life. A woman in her 60s found her wrist pain went away in 45 minutes after putting one on, and every time she took it off, the wrist pain would immediately come back. And a man in California put on the Power Balance after going through chemo and found it immediately cured him from throwing up. Scientifically...
Sorry, no, I don't... Sorry, I shouldn't say I don't care about that, but he also said I golf quite a bit and I hit the ball about 40 yards further. I take it off and I don't golf as well. Yo, maybe I need to get a Power Balance, man, because I could do with an extra 40 yards on my drive, for sure.
It immediately cured him from throwing up.
Even if it is just a placebo effect, if I get 40 extra yards, I'll take that.
Likely did nothing. But people believing that it did, for many, legitimately cured their health problems. Power Balance claiming their product worked was triggering a placebo effect over a sample of millions of people and seriously improving many of their lives. However, the ethics around this are somewhat gray. As power balance gained popularity, the negative reaction from the scientific community was immediate and much more harsh than it was for Phiten. Article after article and study after study debunked the test and labeled them as pseudoscience or a straight-up scam. This type of backlash would soon cause the entire industry to collapse. But in the meantime, it made no difference because every athlete in pretty much every sport was wearing one. Ronaldo, David Beckham, Drew Brees, Kobe, Kevin Durant, Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp, the guy who won the World Series of Poker did it while wearing a power balance. Bill Clinton wore one. Even the British royal family was wearing power balance, and most of them did it for free. The bracelet became a trendy look. Many didn't even care if there was no science behind them. They just thought they looked cool. In 2010, they sold $35 million worth of product, 200 times more than they had just 2 years ago. They bought the rights to rename the Sacramento Kings Arena into the Power Balance Pavilion. They were bigger than ever and named CNBC's Sports Product of the Year. That same year, they also won a Shonky Award, an award that goes to the biggest ripoff/scam of the year. On their website around this time, the insane claims that they had made years earlier were replaced with vague statements about how the company believed in, quote, various holistic practices and Eastern philosophies, without any specific medical claims the bracelet was supposed to help with. The reason for this, in part, was likely Power Balance being concerned about lawsuits, which were starting to come. In Spain that year, the Department of Health fined the company 15,000 euros. In Italy, they were fined 300,000 euros for deceptive advertising. And in Australia, they were being investigated by the government, who claimed Power Balance breached the company's trade laws with deceptive advertising. In response, Power Balance was forced to state, quote, we admit that there is no credible scientific evidence that supports our claims. They offered refunds to all their Australian customers, and according to them, the Australian government even threatened athletes who advertised the product. A few months later, they went bankrupt in Australia. In America, the business was still thriving, but having to admit the claims they made were not backed by science made them vulnerable. And within a year, Power Balance had as many as 18 separate cases pending in federal court at once. Even stars who endorsed the product like Shaq and Lamar Odom were being sued over the company's claims. Power Balance was screwed. They eventually settled and paid out $57 million.
Now that's a fine.
Forced to offer their customers refunds, and with $10 to $50 million in debt, the company filed for bankruptcy. Their deal with the Kings fell through, and the Power Balance Pavilion was renamed. Soon after, Power Balance sold for $8 million to a Chinese company who bought it in part with money Power Balance already owed them. And that year, Phiten was also hit with a lawsuit, settling for $3.2 million, offering customers refunds for false advertising. The settlement was a fraction of the size of Power Balance, but for both, this marked the beginning of the end. Both had to admit to deceptive marketing. The product slowly faded away. Famous athletes stopped wearing them. Many of the people who saw massive health benefits, now knowing there was no science behind it, likely lost any benefit that came with the placebo. And despite both Power Balance and Phiten being sold today, the industry of cool sports bracelets and necklaces that improve athletic performance has faded away.
It does open up an interesting question, though, because if it was genuinely having a positive placebo effect on people, like, it's almost a shame that it's gone away. Like that guy who said he could drive the ball 40 yards further. If that was actually true, if he did drives before and hit 200 yards, and then after he's hitting 240 yards, we know it's not because of the bracelet, but because of the placebo effect from the bracelet. At the end of the day, you're still getting the desired result, aren't you? So it is quite interesting. But I can see why the ethics behind it are a bit dodgy, you know, especially when they're profiting as much as they were. Let me know if you guys ever owned a Power Balance. Did you feel any effect from it or a Phiten? I don't know what I was doing in these years because I never saw this. I didn't see anyone, the Premier League, said Beckham wore it. Maybe he was in Spain at that time. Ronaldo, not sure. I don't know what was going on when this was on because I never saw anyone wearing this thing. Hope you did enjoy the video. Have a good Christmas, guys. Have a good festive period. Happy New Year. I'll see you for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.